Timeline of Princess Diana's final day. Hi everyone. Welcome to All Things Royal. Today I thought it would be interesting for us to follow the events of the day leading up to Princess Diana's death. It would be prudent to start on August 30th, 1997, when at 11:30 a.m. local time, Dodi and Diana left their yacht moored in Sardinia. They would then head to the airport to board Al Fayed's private plane. By 1:50 p.m., the plane took off for France. They arrived in the airport at Le Bourget at 3:20 p.m. As soon as they got off the plane, they were already swarmed with photographers. They got into a car driven by a Dodi's regular driver Philippe Dourneau. They were accompanied by a bodyguard. Another car from the Ritz hotel security was driven by Henri Paul. Other members of their party rode in this second car. They were driven to Villa Windsor, which was the former home of the Duke and Duchess of Windsor. After a brief tour of the villa, they proceeded to Hotel Ritz. This hotel was owned by Dodi's father Mohammed. Photographers followed them once again to the Ritz. They used the rear entrance of the hotel to gain entry and they went up to the Imperial Suite. At this point, Diana called her sons Prince William and Harry. The boys were in Balmoral with their father at this time. The boys recalled that the conversation they had with their mother was brief. They were in a rush to say goodbye to their mother so they could continue what they were doing. William recalls that in knowing now that that was their last conversation with her, he wished he wouldn't have been so blasé about it. Diana also called her medium Rita Rogers. From 5:40 and 6:30 p.m., Diana had a hair appointment and Al Fayed visited a jeweler near the hotel. According to the family, he went to pick up an engagement ring. Diana also called Richard Kay, a friend and journalist. Kay recalls how Diana told him that change was coming, and that she was about to make a decision which would radically change her life. Diana told Kay that she was going to complete her charitable commitments and then by November withdraw from formal public life. According to Al Fayed's family, Dodi was planning to propose that night. By 7 p.m., Diana and Dodi would leave the Ritz using the rear entrance. They were driven to his apartment near the Arc de Triomphe. They were planning to stay there for a while and then have dinner at Benoit Paris. They were not planning to return to the Ritz that night. After driving Diana and Dodi to the apartment, Henri Paul went off duty. He headed for the bar and had some drinks. At 8:51 p.m., Diana and Dodi would leave the apartment with the plan of going to Benoit Paris. Photographers would however follow them. Since they had trouble getting to their destination because of the photographers, Dodi told the driver to go to the Ritz instead. By 9:50 p.m., the couple entered the front entrance of the Ritz and headed for one of the hotel's restaurants. They ordered their food. But as their meal was about to be served, Dodi became worried that some of the photographers may be posing as servers and restaurant patrons. He then ordered the food to be brought up to the Imperial Suite. At 10:07 p.m., Henri Paul was called back to the Ritz Hotel by the night security manager François Tendel. Paul ordered a drink at the bar. The autopsy later revealed that aside from the alcohol he consumed, Paul also had prescription drugs in his system, one for depression and another for alcoholism. A barkeep even noticed that when Paul left the bar, he walked into a customer. By 10:20 p.m., Dodi would speak with Tendel. It is believed that Dodi was planning to sneak out of the hotel and head back to his apartment. The night manager would then meet with the driver Paul and two of the Ritz chauffeurs. At 10:30 p.m., Henri Paul would go outside the hotel and speak to the paparazzi. One photographer claimed that Henri Paul kept taunting them that night. He would tell them that Diana would be coming out of the front door in 10 minutes. From 10:30 p.m. to midnight, Dodi and Diana decided to leave the Ritz to go to Dodi's apartment. Hotel surveillance would show the couple smiling in the elevator, making their way to the rear of the hotel. By 12:20 a.m. on what was then the 31st of August, the couple would ride on the back seat of a black Mercedes. Bodyguard Trevor Rees-Jones was in the front seat and Henri Paul was driving. Paul once again taunted the photographers saying to them, "Don't try to follow, you will never catch us." Investigations would later reveal that Dodi was planning to sneak out of the hotel using the rear entrance while a decoy car would be left in front of the Ritz. However, photographers were quick to figure out such plan and gave chase to Paul as he sped out of the hotel. Paul would continue to speed through the Paris streets with photographers following. At 12:33 a.m., the Mercedes entered the Pont de l'Alma tunnel at 85 miles per hour. It clipped a white Fiat Uno at the entrance of the tunnel, careening into the 13th pillar of the tunnel. The impact sounded like an explosion for people outside. The impact of the crash killed Henri Paul and Dodi Al-Fayed instantly. Rhys Jones was able to quickly put on a seatbelt just moments before the crash and was seriously injured. Diana was not wearing a seatbelt. Photographer Romuald Rat was first on the scene, arriving within seconds and took photos. Dr. Frederick Myers was driving on the opposite side of the tunnel and upon seeing the wreck got out of his car and tried to help those inside. He found Dodi and Henri Paul dead with Rhys Jones seriously injured and yelling. Diana was on her knees facing the seat she was sitting in. Dr. Myers did not recognize Diana. He rendered whatever aid he could. Diana asked what happened. She also started expressing pain from her injuries. She lowered her head and then did not say anything else. Emergency workers had to use an electric saw to get to Diana. At 1:20 a.m., the emergency services tried to stabilize Diana before transporting her to the hospital. After she was extracted from the wreck, she went into cardiac arrest. After 18 minutes of CPR, Diana's heartbeat became more regular. She was then transported to the hospital. She was placed on respirator during transport. The nearest hospital was 4 miles away. About a block away from the hospital, Diana's blood pressure dropped significantly. The ambulance had to stop so they could administer dopamine. By 2:01 a.m., 2 hours after the wreck, they reached the hospital. She immediately went into surgery. At 2:30 a.m., the surgeons tried to repair Diana's chest and heart damage. Diana also had a dislocated arm, damaged ribs, a cut on her thigh and on her head. At 4 a.m., despite hours of surgery, Diana, Princess of Wales, was pronounced dead. This was a sad day for many people across the globe. For a time, we were all united in grief for the loss of this beautiful and tragic princess. Anyway, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like my video and subscribe to my channel to watch more similar videos. Bye.